everyone, welcome to another prompt cluster. We're back at the prompt machine this time. In the last video, I did something a bit different, but now that we're back in the prompt machine, start it off right now. See, we have a bunch of weird things, but a book. So it'll have something to do with books. And here is where this prompt's gonna go. I'm gonna do the basically control tower. It's gonna work with this lift we did here in the last episode. It ended up being a bit more oddly colored than I was originally gonna go for in this, but here it is. There's a bunch of buildings around here instead of my usual just doing one building or something, which is an interesting change of pace. But I'll just start off here. This is like the main building, like where people work. There's lots of machinery and stuff that ties in with the area down there. These are like buttons to turn on the machinery and things to make the trolley, whatever I called it before, move back up and down. Here, these are supposed to be lights to show where the trolley is at. It's on 1 right now because it's at the top. And there's like a little loft area up here. The ladder's actually supposed to be there, but this would be like where the person who's operating the machinery and stuff would like do paperwork or something. It's supposed to be fantasy office, basically. Here is a little balcony. I figured if they're operating stuff that's moving the trolley, they would need to actually see the trolley. So there's a balcony here for that. Over here, I used some copper to make a little like pathway and stuff. And this building is supposed to be like a cafeteria kind of place. I made use of the birthday cake candle arrangement thing here that they added a while ago. Over here, it connects to the other building, and there's a parrot, because I thought that would be an interesting addition. These are supposed to look like fantasy refrigerators and stuff. This is like a barrel of the glistening melons. I guess that's what they would eat here. Over here is like a library kind of, I don't know what you call it. It's where they store a bunch of records and documents and things. There's a desk. I use the new, I don't know what they're called, pots. I use the new pots in conjunction with all the other like new cherrywood blocks and these chisel bookshelves. Come up to this area, which is just document storage. You technically could jump out the window here if you wanted, I guess, but that's just part of the design. If I can get through this window, I can't get through that window. Up here, it's like a shelf of, like, there's pots with candles in them to provide light, and there's plants and, like, spare candles. I imagine the plants are to, like, freshen up the room or something with the smell of them. And there's a skylight up here as well. Over here, this is supposed to be like a rain catching system. Go inside it, there's like a meter to show how far the rainwater's gone, and the floor is supposed to look like weathered, like there's been water in this a long time. And here's a little drain thing. It's supposed to, like, I didn't include any controls, which I guess I probably should have, but maybe there'll be another building somewhere that controls, like, rainwater stuff, but this is like the drain. It'll open up and it flows down here and it goes into like gullies. I don't know what these are called. Outdoor sewers. But it goes down through here, and this area, it's got a nice little like waterfall thing. I tried to use white glass to give it like a fog, waterfall foam effect. And just put some flowers and stuff around it. I think it's simple, but it kind of works. Over on the other side, fly all the way over here. It kind of goes under here. This is like a bridge thing. And empties out over into this area where it'll irrigate a lot of the farmland. I've also got this thing up here I neglected to mention. It's a little like music playing machine, which is that's the wrong button. Probably 20 more observers than was completely necessary, and it's like barely fits into here. It's why I had to make the copper go so high, but it's here. It's got a bunch of music discs in it, and it'll play it, and it'll swap between them after it's done. The only flaw with it is if I turn it on, you can't turn it back off again until the disc is continued playing, which is like, it's partly just how the mechanic works, but also because I don't really know how to do redstone very well, so I'm just gonna say this is like an older model or something. And this station in the trolley has been here a long time, so that's why there's an older model. So it was probably new when it was installed. Alright, next time for the next one here, we'll have a bunch of pink things. So I'm thinking a garden of some kind. A mining garden, maybe. I don't know, we'll use the pickaxe for that. And here is where I'm going to be doing the garden mine thing. Okay, so I had a lot of time to work on this one, because I was bored for an extended amount of time. So this one's a bit bigger than I originally intended it to be. But I'll just go over it section by section. Over here, I have some of these like glowy things that are similar to the stuff on the mainland. These things. And there are also these things over here, which are similar to those kind of ones, but a little different, because as you can see, there's this river thing here. I've blasted it out with TNT. I did this a while ago, so I didn't show it on camera, but it's a big river thing over here that like divides the continent to make it two continents. And part of like the story of this land here is this continent is inhabited. There's going to be villagers are going to be the main like creature that lives here. Over here, this is going to be like wilderness and ruins and things, and there isn't really anything inhabiting the world or the continent here. So this thing is just like weird wilderness plants and stuff. Like, they were originally supposed to look kind of like weird mushrooms, but then I added leaves. So I don't know how you would classify that, but they do exist. Now this area, this is the garden part of the garden mine thing. I built a bridge here for starters, because I was trying to figure out where I was going to start here. And there's the random cow nearby, so I put him up here. It is the Cherry Bridge Guardian. Something that's interesting, I put a lead attached to the cow, attached to a fence underwater here. And that, because it's like held taut right there, that means the cow can't like walk away from that position. He is gonna stay on the bridge forever without having to be penned up. So that is cool. Down here is just like candles and slabs. It's supposed to look like it's on a flotation device of some kind. So if you were to like swim a boat through here, you'd have light if you were like doing it at sunset, because that would be a time you would normally go in a boat under a bridge, I guess. But here's the garden though. On the outside bit of this, I did like all the soil types I could think of at least, and pretty much all the plants and things that I don't really consider flowers normally, plus a few things like pitcher plants and torch flowers, which kind of fit in, even though they're in among the normal flowers as well. But I did that basically all the way through here. Little break in it here to do the water plants, which is sugarcane and drip leaf and stuff. And I did these big trees and stuff here, which are a bunch of cherry saplings, yeah, and arranged in like a little grid pattern here. You can kind of tell from looking at the trunk. And I did a much bigger one over here, which you can actually go inside, and there's, again, another little music station. And I did, I forgot what those are called, but those little things are in there. There's a bed too, so I guess that's where the keeper of the garden, maybe the cow lives here, and he like maintains the garden. That's where he lives. Up here is all the little types just with pink petals on them, which you can't plant them in Nylium, but it looks cool anyway. Up here, there's like a little back garden with all the 2 high flowers, including the new pitcher plants, which I think look really good here. The downward part has a bunch of the cherry petals, mainly. They're kind of interspersed throughout the whole area. Since these tiny ones take up like an entire block, it does give it like an interesting spacing effect when you're looking at it from over here. It makes it look like there's just random gaps in among the flowers. Here is basically all the flower types except for the white ones and wither roses, because that's the color scheme I was going for. It's mainly torch flowers as well, another new one. This is kind of like an ancient garden here. Like, this has been here for a really long time, so they still have the ancient plants, even though ancient plants are extinct in the rest of the Minecraft world, since you have to get them from sniffers. And I think that is interesting. Over here is the mine part. I did some kind of like texturing off to the side of here. It's supposed to look kind of like, well, I don't know what you call it, but it's rock, and there's like gold going through it. So there's all sorts of minerals and stuff here. And over here, there's basically this big door. This is like the entrance to the mine, but it's been locked up for reasons unknown, and this is supposed to look like a padlock. I don't know how well I executed that, but that is there. And we're back at the Great and Cool Prompt Machine. Last prompt of this video. Oh, it's like mostly bamboo. Okay. And there's camels, pitch pods, so this is going to be mostly new stuff, it'll appear. This is where the third prompt is going, and here we are. I didn't do this one very big, because it's right next to where I'm going to build the huge farm thing I was talking about last episode, maybe the one before, don't remember. But this is kind of like a pier house looking thing. Did a lot of nice colors with like teal and green and yellow and some tans and stuff. It's nice. I used a lot of the new stuff. I got like rafts and things. Got pots, flowers and stuff. Kind of surrounding areas. Got a bunch of the pitcher plants as well. So I guess we can say that they were transplanted from the ancient garden over here or something like that. There's this thing. It's meant to look sort of like a weather vane. Except it's just got the cardinal directions on it because Minecraft doesn't have any wind. Despite the fact I've got flags and stuff everywhere. Up here, the person who lives in the house, or camel, is the ferryman. The story of this is supposed to be that this camel dude lives here in his house, and put that down. He basically runs a ferry service, which is why he's got all the rafts and stuff out here. I guess most of the population around here lives on like the shoreline, so they would need ferry services to get around. And that's basically the end of the video. So thank you for watching. Bye.